So, vote delegates.
For the sake of protocol, I just want to see how to spell your surname.
Do you have your voting devices? Can I see them? Nice, nice, very nice. Okay. Now, my first question for you. Do you elect Zornica and Mihajlowa for scrutinizers of this NA? ESN Varna.
Yes.
ESN Bulgarian University. ESN Plovdiv.
Yes.
ESN Sofia University.
Yes.
ESN Wacek. ESN UNWE.
Yes.
ESN UCTM. Amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you girls for offering. And now, as Kali was saying earlier, we have another voting subject, which is the agenda. Lorenzo, would it be possible to also show it for them? The agenda.
It's not here, so I need to.
Yeah, it was impossible to
Okay.
edit.
Oh.
Maybe you can go back.
Yeah.
And there's yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the beautiful agenda that we proposed for this NA. I hoped you gave it a more thorough look before coming here. And my next question is, do you approve on the agenda? And again, ESN Varna,
Yes.
ESN Bulgarian University,
Yes.
ESN Plovdiv,
Yes.
ESN Sofia University,
Yes.
ESN Wacek, ESN UNWE,
Yes.
ESN UCTM. Thank you, that's beautiful.
Oriana,
Yes.
question. Would you like me to count the votes as a number, or do you want each section to be labeled as
I mean, for now you can do it as it's easier for you, but in the final protocol they
we
have
have
to be
to
one
have
by
that
one.
specific section?
Yeah, I can show you from
No, no,
another.
I have it.
Okay,
no worries.
thank you. All right. I think it's time to move to the rules of the game and how are we going to behave ourselves at this NA. Starting with respect and inclusivity. We might discuss more heated subjects here, we might differ in opinions, and that's alright, but we should always remember to be respectful and kind towards each other in any of the situations that we will face here. Also at the Q&As, and even especially at the Q&As. Please remember to speak English, but don't try to speak Bulgarian and hope that I will not understand, because I will do understand. Please try to use inclusive language, be considerate of people's pronouns, use inclusive general words such as folks, yes, sinners, and not guys. And when you talk about a hypothetical person, use they instead of he or she. Remember the code of conduct of ESN. If you don't know where to find it, reach out and I will share it with you. And in case you experience or witness any violation, reach out to a point of contact that was mentioned before, me, Gabi, or Val. Now, there are some rights you have as active members of ESN Bulgaria participating in an NA. First of all is to vote. This is a right that all local representatives or vote delegates have, and they are the ones representing the vote of their section as a whole. To make procedural proposals, this is for everyone if you consider fit to make any proposal or change to the way we are doing our things. Some of us are the first time in a city or the first time facing a certain situation during NNA, so feedback and suggestions are always welcome. In case you have extra needs to follow the plenaries, like intellectual disabilities or some other issue, again, please inform us so we can support you accordingly. Everyone has the right to speak, but you will be given the word by us, especially me, who I'm going to facilitate the session, so you have to wait for your turn to come. But hopefully there will be space for all of you to say what's on your mind. You have the right to attend sessions on confidential matters. This is only for active members of ESN Bulgaria. And to make voting proposals, again, only for the active members until the deadline tonight, if you wish to add something that can be put on the agenda for tomorrow. And please refer to the SOS documents for further details. Then, each voting subject usually or reports are followed by a Q&A session. Again, any participant can speak. After each presentation, we will open a speakers list that you can sign up, and we will use Slido for you to write and submit your questions, and then we will read them for you. And please, this will get annoying at some point, but it makes it a lot easier for the minutes taker at least to always state your name and section and position when you speak, or when you write yourself in the Slido. Anonymous questions won't be read, so don't forget to mention who you are. And please be serious, respectful, and kind when asking questions. Ask relevant questions to the content of the presentations, not personal questions. And otherwise we will keep them if we consider that something is inappropriate. Now, a few more details about this. In general, we will accept maximum of 2 questions from a person. We can give you space to ask more if there is time at the end, after everyone who signed up on the speakers list spoke. And if you have a question, raise your hand. But in case you have a reaction to what is being discussed, you should raise 2 fingers for comments or reactions on the same topic, and you'll move up the speakers list so you join the conversation. And if you notice a procedural slip or a question that it's inappropriate, for instance, you can raise 1 finger to make a procedural comment, and again, this will overrule the speakers list. Time is limited, as you know, so try to make your question clear and concise. Was there an online question round? Did we receive questions?
As of
No.
this one, we should no.
Okay, so this is relevant here. All the questions that will be received here will be discussed if they are deemed relevant. And we as the city have also the right to call up a question if it's regarded as what I mentioned before. And also we have to be careful with the time, and we will restrict the time if it's needed. Okay. And if you have a reaction to the discussion, again, it needs to be relevant to the original question, and you cannot ask another question unless there is needed clarification of your question or to introduce a new topic, because we are not going to start a discussion in the middle of the session. And when the time comes, we also have the right to close the speaker list or propose to you, and we can calmly agree. Now, in ESN, we use some gestures during NA to not create more chaos than there usually is. Can someone show me how do we express appreciation in ESN? Yes, thank you. These are silent applauses if you agree with what's being said, or if you appreciate what is happening. Then there is a sign we use. Yes, you can carry on. This is a sign to ask for silence. It can get very noisy in this room sometimes and hard to focus, so we don't shout at each other, shut up, we raise our hands. And that was it. These are the signs and procedures that you need to know. Wait, there was a slide that it's missing. Okay.
Може да е, аз съм го пуснал тук, може да за това.
Do you hear your feedback?
Feedback.
Like the sound. I think there's a latency in it. Is it? No, there isn't.
I think it's fine.
Okay, yes.
Procedural. How ESN Sofia University. Can we put the slide link directly in the agenda? Not in the agenda, in the link. Yeah.
I suppose we can. I don't know who made the link. I think it's Gabi.
Yeah.
The slide link in the, sorry?
Linktree.
So that we don't post it every time in the chat.
Yeah, it's a very good idea. Do you have any questions regarding to what has been presented? How many of you are actually attending an NA for the first time? Okay. That's very good. 8 people. Okay, out of 30 something we are, that's quite 35. Okay, that's a quarter. That's a pretty good number. Alright. Okay. In that case, let's move on to the National Board and NB support reports. And I will invite the beautiful National Board of ESN Bulgaria and their support positions to come up here to present their report. For this, you don't need to be silent.
Yeah, so shall we start? Can we click the thing here?
The clicker thing.
Yeah. Fine.
At this point, we don't have it. Sorry about that.
Not like when it's just a switch and slide, eh?
Yeah, I'll do it.
So, as every Monday starts in ESN, it's common to have the transition session. So we gathered the new national level, the former ESN, Bulgaria national level.
Can you be here? Just
Why?
to be, because we cannot see you on the stream. The speaker should be here.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we started with the transitional meeting, which was to discuss the goals, the ideas of the national board for the whole year, the whole mandate. And we talked for 2 days for quite a few hours, to be fair. It was, I think, quite a productive session, and we will be able to show you at some point something very important that came out of that meeting. Shall we switch? And now for the more let's say, positional responsibility. First of all, the role of the president of ESN Bulgaria is to take care of all of the legal problems, legal stuff, which includes the registry agency documents and whatnot. The thing is, for one reason or another, maybe it's because of the change of status of ESN Bulgaria, there is a lot of need of filling the legal gaps that are apparently present in ESN Bulgaria. So, as many of you know, you've had to deal with these documents as well. So this took me maybe not more than 300 hours of work, which is a bit absurd, but yeah. This is one of the more demanding tasks so far with that position. Then we have the action plan, the thing that we talked about, that I mentioned just now, which is what are the actual steps, the actual actions, tasks of ESN Bulgaria for the whole mandate. Okay? Any questions with that so far? Anyone listening? Okay. So, the whole action plan of ESN Bulgaria, with all of the tasks, the deadlines, the priorities as well, okay? Which, I mean, I'm gonna go over the next one for a little bit, which is the coordination of the whole national board and support, as we call it in ESN Bulgaria, even though we treat it as national board, okay? This is to see what everyone should do in the different domains, okay? What are the responsibilities of each person to coordinate the people at national level? The previous one is the Speak Out project, which we will talk about later. It's a project. How many of you have been on Erasmus project before? Yeah? I mean, it's barely any, no? Like 10ish people. So, the idea is projects. Can anyone quickly in 10 seconds describe a project? What is it? Okay, let's say you have to do some stuff. You have some responsibilities, some actions to complete in a given time frame with some restrictions, okay? So because of that, we received some money and there is a lot of tasks, a lot of deadlines that we have to fill in. For the moment, it's a lot of work input by Ivan Markov, Vankata. I'm supposed to be the coordinator as well, so I am checking on what is important there as well, as much as I can. And then the first call of the local presidents, how many of you attended it? It was 1, 2, 3 people? Not from here, I mean. 4 people? 8. Whatever, something like that. So, I think it was quite a productive session. Things that we will talk about in this event as well. Okay? And now it's the turn of Rado. Yes. Okay.
Maybe.
Hey, so I'm the vice president of ESN Bulgaria. So for me, it started with the transition with Anelia and the help with Vankta as well on some details. So we first started as I made a call with the HR vice president's community. We talked about how for the welcome weeks, how would they attract new active members, what's the situation, and still like the things that a section could operate, how is the local board spirits. And yes, I'm still available to them. They chat me whenever they need anything. So yeah, we're in close communication with every vice president. Also for this NA, I had a call with the OC, with the city, preparation for the venues, the hotels, the city to have all the email credentials and all the materials needed for this assembly to happen. And another thing, I attended SIP, and there we had MB tracks where all the national boards that were there attended. So we talked about a few interesting ideas in the future, how like our plans could make them happen with, especially with the Vice President of ESN Romania. We talked with representatives from Turkey, ESN Turkey, and ESN Jordan, and yeah, we exchanged a few ideas, and hopefully we can see it happen. And in the meantime, all the things that's needed to be done in ESN Sofia, the proper transition with the new team, and also support throughout events and tasks that needed to be done. So yeah, that was my report.
Thank you.
Hello everyone. First of all, because I see new people here. Oh, okay. I see some.
Keep the cable straight.
Yeah, the cable is not that good.
Okay. Because I see some new people here. Maybe this is a question to all the new people here. What do you think the network manager does? Because it's a position only for only the second time ever. It manages people, bands, any guesses?
The network manager manages the network.
Yes. It's a little of a, how to say it, that's the English title, but in Bulgarian it's also basically the second vice president, but for trainings and international events, in the sense of kind of like an external vice president. Essentially, keeping track of what you see here, for example, at the international events that we have, the regional training, which was for all regional countries, CP Erevan, which was last month, that was the delegation, then together with Buriano from UCTN, we kind of support our delegation, keeping track of everything before, after, and during the event. Same goes for the other big international event, which is EGM Split, which is currently the preparation that we're doing, and together with our new national delegate, Koyan, we also booked the accommodation, so we have rooms already for Split, so you know that. And it's the external part. And now for the internal part, it's essentially the same thing, trainings and events for volunteers, but again in the context of ESN Bulgaria. Since the beginning of the mandate, since this is my second mandate, I kind of started doing similar timeline as last year, organizing the first big national training, which will be in Stara Zagora. It will be essentially in the same place, because we have good partnership there, and also without the preparation, the open call for the facilitators, so the people that will train us, and again some institutional support, communication with National Youth Forum about the facilitator, and so on and so on. And as Joko mentioned, for the projects, for Speak Out, I'm also supporting the phase that we have to do. It's a very long-term project. So, now we're going to have one event in December, which is local phase within the national training, actually during the national training in Stara Zagora. Then the next semester, another one. Phases, ideas, things are happening, things are going smoothly. And other additional tasks on my own. I managed to facilitate actually 2 sessions for partnerships and for project management at CP Erevan, which is my first time being a facilitator, which is great. Also the multinational course which I'm joining, some international calls that we have, some external ESN international calls for my community or things that are relevant for the network, and other things like communicating with the pool of trainers, preparing the events, basically doing everything internal that you'll be a part of, since it's usually an event or a training. That's pretty much it. I think I have some pictures. The next one is from CP Erevan, which is the Bulgarian delegation. Tomorrow morning we have a very short report to go just a bit more in detail about what we, but 14 Bulgarians, the international table, the flags. It was very cozy, it was an amazing event. You'll learn more about this tomorrow. The next slide is for the one more picture. Yeah. It's some reminders that are currently ongoing, some communication that we try to do, like a visual summary in the WhatsApp, in the emails. The email has been a bit inactive in the last, honestly, 1 or 2 weeks because there was some, internal admin passwords that we had to change, but it will also continue being called via email and also by the WhatsApp as the main channels where we basically summarize and share everything that is important for you. And for the last one, again, reminder, the national training and Christmas team building is coming. It's at the end of the month. It's also going to be part of the project. Participation fee that is super symbolic. It's literally because of our good communication with the International Youth Center, it's part of a project as well, which means that we'll even give more value, like food in the sense of food, in the sense of festivities, in the sense of activities. So be sure to be there if you're an active member, if you're new, if you're old. It's basically for everyone to kind of go through the whole year. So you're all invited. Please register so that we know how much to expect. And now I give the word to the communication manager, which is first the financial manager.
Very nice to meet you. I'm Joko. Good to see you. The cable. Yes. So the thing is, as you probably know, there is not an elected financial manager since last year, wherever it was. So I'm the current interimly financial manager of ESN Bulgaria, and that would cover all of the usual financial responsibilities of ESN Bulgaria, as in financial management, managing the bank account, the budgeting, managing the finances. What can we spend money on? What should we not spend money on? Keeping track of what should be covered and all that, okay? The ESN card management, which relates to the distribution, the finances, the payments, all of that. The tracking of ESN cards in ESN Bulgaria. And also the legal stuff again, related to... Okay? So, related to the annual tax submission. Okay? And everything inside and outside of that, related to the finances, I am responsible for it at the moment. Okay? That would include even talking to the financial managers, which are not really existent. So yeah, talking to myself a lot. From president to financial manager, from financial manager to local financial managers, and all that. So it's good. And now it's the communication manager.
It's my time. So hello everyone. I'm the communication manager, for those of you who don't know. And what I've been doing since the beginning of my Monday this year, I started with call with all the local communication managers, which is typical for almost everyone. And I was also having a one-on-one calls with the new communication managers, which currently in ESN Bulgaria we have two, one in ESN Bar and one in ESN MBU. So I was onboarding them for the position. Apart from the local communication managers, I was having conversation with the person responsible for the communications for the national trip in Veliko Trnovo, Andrea. So I was having constant communication with her, preparing all the promotional materials, and I was also preparing the initial visual materials for the trip before we actually had the communication coordinator elected, like chosen. Apart from that, let me see. Yes, in the beginning of the semester, maybe all of you know that we're having like the very strong recruitment process happening. So I took the initiative to create some posters and stickers to hand out to the sections to use and to like post them wherever they want. You're going to see them on the next slide if you forgot what they were looking like. Also, again, around the Speak Out project, maybe you know that there is also like a communication campaign happening coming from ESN International, so I'm keeping track on what are we supposed to post, on which platform, so I'm just keeping track of it and I'm posting it so that we can continue working on this project. Also, in October, I organized the Erasmus Days event that we have from ESN Bulgaria in the National Student House. I always forgot. National Student House, okay. And last but not least, currently we have ongoing the Secret Santa initiative that is happening every year in ESN Bulgaria, which you can still register. You have until 23rd of November, I think. This is like a little Secret Santa initiative to give the present to someone else in ESN Bulgaria, which is going to happen the exchange either at the national training in Stara Zagora, or you can just send it off by post or by someone else. And also I'm supporting my local section because I would like to retire someday. And on the next slide, I have some pictures, like the first one is from the Erasmus Days. You can see how many people there were, and I'm so happy about it. And the second one is the poster, one of the two posters that we had for the recruitment initiative. The visuals I created for the both trips, some of them, and this is the QR code if you want to scan and join the Secret Santa initiative. Now, you can also find it in the emails that I sent you a few days ago. So, I give the word to, I don't know who.
It's a me.
Okay, to Christopher.
The last person.
Hello, lovely people. Yes, covering the National Events Manager report. Sorry, maybe. Okay. Here, you hear me. To summarize the mandate so far, I think I was worrying a little too much about things I shouldn't have worried, and worried a little less about things I should have worried. But of course, we'll get to that in other sessions. The intensity was something I was aware of in the beginning, but something I kind of rised up to, and I'm happy that I signed up for. And regarding my roles as National Events Manager, you can see, of course, my biggest focus was the national trips, as I already mentioned in applying for this position, alongside interaction with the local events coordinators and the communities responsible for the events. Now, about the national trips first, briefly, we successfully sold and carried the national trip to Veliko Trnovo, the annual destination of ESN Bulgaria that's basically promoting, this is like the business card of ESN Bulgaria, if I may say, something that we hold annually and something that we give added value not only for the Erasmus students but the volunteers as well, because this is where they get active, this is where they get involved in crowd management, this is where they get involved in mostly the in-depth volunteering with ESN. I will have a separate session for this because there is a lot of things to cover. I have a lot of things to share with you regarding the national trip, the agencies that we partner with. Respectively, Rhapsody is the agency that we're partnering with for the national trip at Veliko Trnovo, and of course, Yes Trips are currently helping us with the organization of the Istanbul trip, which is coming up next week. So we are looking forward to this, and we want to share that organization is going smoothly. I have a very amazing team that we have successfully onboarded. I have never had such nicely followed and constructive conversations with people, and have rarely seen so motivated volunteers in the community, which is my biggest pride and success in terms of organizing all these events. Now, regarding, I'm going to give a shout out later in the next session for the trips, but bear in mind I will have to interact with most of you about it because there's going to be some interesting / serious and / requiring topics that I wish to provoke you with, but I will give the floor later on with this. Regarding the community and the local events coordinators, I started engaging the community in mid-October after the welcome weeks had passed. And this is where I would like to draw a serious line that event monitoring outside of Sofia was hard before that point. I must admit in front of the assembly that establishing communication with sections outside of Sofia came deep in the semester and may have alienated or may have troubled some communication along the way. But however, I held one coordination meeting, took some worries and excitements into account by both Plovdiv and Varna. We tried to, of course, take attention to things that they were excited and interested about. So this was something I was definitely looking forward to. I will invite, of course, ESN Varna during the trips discussion to speak on some things that we discussed on chat, of course. And the local coordinators are now tasked with delegating event ideas to their volunteers in the hope that we can finally start provoking the community with organizing things on their own. And of course, the one thing I learned in ESN is that delegating creates interaction, creates a sense of responsibility for ESN. So hopefully we will do that successfully this semester, and we will keep on doing it for the next one. And to conclude, I had some other side quests, of course, alongside the National Event Manager role that were not strictly related to events, but we kickstarted the consultations for the campaign in Sofia for housing and accommodation for students, all together with ESN Sofia University, which was later carried out by the partnerships coordinator and of course with the support of the national board. So this has been delegated and is being carried out. It's one of the biggest missions that we have to endure during the beginning of the semester, which is part of the reason that some of the tasks I was responsible for were either a little delayed or challenging in terms of time management. But then again, very happy to have interacted with positive-minded people, and so far the road ahead looks good. Thank you.
No.
Can you hear me now? Perfect. So, I'm not Valeria, but since she won't be able to come here, I'll just cover very briefly what she did. Valeria is our new web project administrator, a role that we didn't have for many years, but last year with Lorenzo, who's also technical chair. And Valeria, I don't know.
There's a sweet spot for
Oh, yeah, okay. And Valeria is the new web project administrator. The idea is that she manages the digital infrastructure of ESN Bulgaria, essentially websites, mailing lists, communication with internationals. Is there, I would say, quite a few initiatives that are coming up about digitalizing ESN cards, other things that, again, we'll see if they're applicable to our network right now, if they will come in the future or the near future. But essentially, she is the contact with that and responsible. I would say since the beginning of her mandate, she has, again, do the standard things, which she has to do and the part of her role, like the mailing list, updating the sites. The biggest thing which she has done until now is to update the ESN site from satellite 5 to satellite 4 to satellite 5. Essentially meaning we got the newest version, it's updated in the newest version, which means now it looks nicer, it looks better, and it's more easier for sections to actually post their content on the websites. Again, the website itself, she's your point of contact, she's doing some reconstruction, these things takes time. That's why some things are ongoing, but what we see from her is good dedication, good communication with us, good follow-up from the international level. She's talking with the international web administrator person and with the community manager for all the IT people in the network. So again, a lot of knowledge, a lot of ideas that she takes from all these calls that she's attending so that we can basically make our network better, again, in terms of digital network, websites, and so on and so on. And again, she's been there for our monthly calls. You've seen her on some previous events. So yeah, she's doing, I think, great work, and again, it's just to grow, and a role that, let's say, if executed correctly and suitably for a network, could have very, very big benefits towards the end of this year and towards the end of the academic year. So we'll keep you tuned, and we'll see how it goes. And now I give the word to Radu, who will speak for the HR manager.
So, yes, I will speak on behalf of Anelia. So, she helped during the welcome days of the university fairs. What does that mean? She helped make them like icebreaker games, or how to attract new people, how to make the first contact with potential new members. Also, she managed with the network care team for this NA, the Godfather initiative. Yes. And she also helped me with some emails and support for emails and with voting weights for this NA. And yeah.
We dearly appreciate her.
Yes.
That was it. Okay, that was very good timing on your side. Thank you. Now we are going to proceed with the first question round of this NA. From what I see, we have received 2 questions from the one and only Mikhail Ostrigaska from ESN Sofia University. And first question is addressed to Ralo. What is the current situation in the network from the HR point of view? How many are the bodies, active members? Any input on this?
So, I have the exact numbers, but I don't remember them by mind. I could tell them later if you want. The situation, for me, it's good. Could be better, of course. Could be worse. I think I'm optimistic about it. You know, it's that time of the year, the appointment of new local boards. So I support everyone to attract members to, you know, change them. Yes, so we need still, we're on the up. We need to still take a little more time for the more experienced people to help the newer ones, to guide them through the way. So I think yes, it's good. Maybe to the next NA, I would say it's excellent.
Thank you very much, Rado. And the other question is for Ivan. Maybe we'll mention it tomorrow, but do you think bringing more new people to international events makes it easier or harder to manage?
Thank you for the question. Short answer, I think it's the quality of the people and the actual people, not really the amount. We've had great events with 20 people, with 30 people, with 14 as in Yerevan, but that didn't really change too much. I would say that we manage good, at least in our Bulgarian delegation, with preparation and emotions. Honestly, if there are fewer people, it just made me logistically easier for transportation and hotel, but other than that, the value is there, regardless of the number. If that answers the question.
Thank you, Ivan. We have, I think, more than 30 minutes that were assigned for this session. Is there anyone who would still like to address a question? No? Then I will propose to close the speakers list, and we are going to have an early break, I suppose.
Any final questions?
Yes, please, Victor.
Yes, I
Name
have
and section.
Victor, ESN Varna. I was just wondering how are the numbers of the ESN cars sold this semester going compared to, for example, the previous year, the same semester, or maybe last semester?
And this is going to be shared in the budget report. At the same time, it's more than previous years, less than what was budgeted for.
All right. Any last questions? No? All right. Then,
You're not hearing it.
okay. Then we are going to take 30 minutes break. Be back at 10:55.
students
break was a trial of your ability to be back on time. And for the future breaks, we are going to change a bit the approach. Normally, we have the habit of choosing a music sign or a song that we will play every time to give you the cue that you need to be back in the room. And I would like to involve you in this, and I would like to hear some proposals from you of what this show should be. Yes.
Really?
Okay, let's go back to the formal procedures. We have one proposal from Mihaela from Sofia University, three from Desire, Yezvanzi.
Journey, don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing, Victor.
We are not gonna take it.
Is that a song? Okay. Yes, Kawi. Okay. And Ivan, did you also have a proposal? Okay, I think that one wins. Can one of you send it to me privately? Because I don't know it exactly, but I think I know what it is. Good. Now that we established this, Ralo has an announcement for you.
Yes. Okay. So, a reminder for tonight for the social program. We have a restaurant, Yužan Polak. Gabi will send a location, and please, you have until 1 hour to look at the menu and write what you want.
Already.
Thank you. And
All right. Thank you, Ralo. Now, let's begin with the first session of this block. I will invite Joko to discuss with you about attitude in ESN Bulgaria.
Yeah. Thank you. And anyone else from National Board that would like to join as well? I mean, if you prefer to stay down, it's fine. Okay. Rado, Ivan? Oh. Actually, can you just hold it 1 sec? Yes. Okay, starting the session. The idea is, let's start with what would you say ESN is according to you? Guys, let's do the stickers in the break, yeah? It's not related to the session. So, what is ESN you think? Do you think ESN is like a business for many people? Yeah? Could here things that ESN has business-like qualities? 1, 2, 3 people, 4, 5, 6, maybe let's say 1/4 of the room.
Maybe 6, I don't know.
Yes. Yes. Anyone here who thinks that ESN is more of a politics-related structure? Oh, same person. Very nice. Okay. Something else? Any other suggestions? What is most resembling ESN Bulgaria? ESN in general.
Politics, policies.
No, I mean politics in general, like a politics-related structure. That was the question. Yeah? Vicky, the right-wing guy.
yeah.
Joking, of course. Vicky, Nestor. Europeization. Would you say it's related to policies, to politics?
Yeah.
Okay. So we put it in that side as well, right?
No, it didn't.
What? You just mentioned it's the same, no?
Probably talking about civil policies, not about politics.
Okay, let's say policies. Shall we switch it? Policies. So, Europeization, similar? No?
Civil policies.
Okay, Vanzi, civil policies.
Yeah.
Vicky?
No, but it is that everyone becomes friends with everyone, all the cultures become the one, and so
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I think he needs a mic.
Would you like to join? Okay. Okay, anyone else? Would you say we're all youth workers? Are we working? Is it a profession of some sort? Okay. Who here is being paid for it? Is it a professional? It's... Go on. Sure. Okay, I would say, Miki, anything to add?
Yes, I want to point out that youth workers are not necessarily paid for.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's good. It's good. I would say it's very important to understand. At least I think it's very interesting ESN for that reason. It's a mixture of different things. You can see the business part and then learn from that, right? You can develop professional skills. You can create a network. You can develop your network, right? You can do the more policies related things. We have the votings. We have all of these documentations which are pretty much related to any other political structure, I would say, right? We have the youth work, right? Everyone going to trips, buddies, whatever, helping students. It's actually youth work. It's something that is always related as youth work. It's more of the field. But the volunteering aspect, it's interesting. It's a lot of different types of organizations that are combined into one. And for one reason or another, for the moment, very easy in ESN Bulgaria to progress. Let's say, shall we? Anyone who would argue that? I mean, this is the example that I gave. For some reason before, in the culture it was you were supposed to become first a buddy. Then, how many of you here are buddies at the moment? Yeah? Very few, no? Then what is the next logical step? A volunteer, of course. How many of you are still at the volunteer stage? Yeah? More, right? Then what is the next usually logical step? Active member, yes. How many of you are active members? Pretty much everyone here, no? Exactly. Then, what is it after active member? Of course, local board. How many are local board? I have pretty much half of the room, maybe even more. Very nice. What is after local board? How many here are national board? Okay. And then, what is after national board? International level. How many here are international level? Doesn't matter. Go on. Sure. Okay. Okay. So the thing is, up until recently, I was also at the international level. The thing is, I was in ESN for maybe 1.5 years, something like that, before I came to international level. So, not a long time, right? Most people would say, for 1.5 years, you should stay at the local level, maybe become a local board member in 1.5 years, yeah? I was at the international level by then. So it's very easy to progress in ESN Bulgaria, right? Go on.
Is your international level ESC?
Yes, of course. As many people would say, the best community.
Yes. But weren't you the only member?
I was the only BFC manager at the time, yes. I mean, there is one BFC manager at any level, at any point. That is the idea, at least. So the thing is, right? The idea is, we have the different positions, we have the different levels. And it's very important to still recognize that we have certain responsibilities, right? We have certain responsibilities which are related with every single position, okay? We have to, for example, if you're a vote holder at an NA, what are your responsibilities? Does anyone know? The vote holders, maybe. Yeah?
To read the document that they're about to vote.
Okay, read the documents to be voted for. Troy?
Be on time.
To very nice. To be on time for the quorum check. Someone else? Different things as well. To sign both lists with being present as a vote.
Should I count this as a procedural?
Yes. Maybe an objection. Who knows? Miki?
Also to consider the section on what the
course.
documents.
Do the section consultation on the votings at that particular NA, right? So it's a lot of different responsibilities. The thing is, it's at least it's my observation, and this is why I'm saying it's not going to be like a scolding session from the whole national board. It's just my observation with the attitude of some people in ESN Bulgaria, which is not everyone fulfills their responsibilities before having fun, for example, right? The prioritization is not always in check. The thing is, even the more competent people in ESN Bulgaria, sometimes they say, I cannot do that, I will not do that, and they don't delegate the task, and something very important is missed out on. Okay? It happens. And it happens way too often that it's good to admit, then it's comfortable to admit. Just a second. The thing is, for example, I can give you the example of yesterday and today as well. In pretty much most national assemblies of ESN Bulgaria, what is the most spoken about topic in the coffee breaks? And to be fair, to be quite frank, in the sessions as well. What is it? Have you noticed that it's very common, especially when it goes past the lunch break, for pretty much everyone to be thinking of which club to go to? It's very, like, shall we do the reservation for the first Chalga club or the second Chalga club? I mean, it's good to have the parties, it's good to have the fun. Honestly, many people will disagree. I honestly am in favor. I think it's very important, as many of you were at the gathering yesterday, which has gathered a lot of people in one room, talked, some people had a drink. I think it's very important actually for such events to have the social element as well, for people to talk, to grab a drink, grab one beer or whatever, maybe a few, talk, chat to each other, maybe play some music. My point is, this is in many cases disrupting the actual responsibilities of people. For example, people supposed to be on time don't come to the sessions. What time were we supposed to start the day? Anyone? And what time did we start? 9:30, that's true. And why would that happen? Because some people were not here. Otherwise, we would have started on time, right? So it's good to prioritize the responsibilities, just do what is very important of you, and then have the fun. And then, to be fair, this is even then, more of my personal opinion, is way better in terms of socializing for people to go to a bar and then be able to talk to each other, be able to share stories, have some laughs, instead of going to a club, wait in lines, fight other people for a table, and then crash into one table without even hearing each other. At least it's my opinion. But let's not dive too deep in that. There are certain plans from the OC of going to a bar, maybe doing just exactly that, socializing in a more informal setting. Right, but in some cases, people prioritize the fun part and not the responsibilities. It's very important to switch that. And it depends on us. It's not something that someone will come here in that situation, myself, and tell you, you shouldn't do that, you should be more responsible. It doesn't work like that. It should come from inside. It should be an internal motivator for everyone to do that. And it's sort of expected of us, right? We're the youth workers, we're the people that develop certain aspects of society, right? And it's expected of us. Many of us, some of us are more in the early 20s, some are more in the later 20s. But most of us are in our 20s, right? Supposedly, we should be responsible right now, already, okay? Any objections to that? Anyone agreeing with that? Okay? Anyone being able to repeat what I said in a few words? Okay.
Be responsible.
Be responsible, of course. Prioritize the responsibilities and then the fun, right? As any wise young adult, right? Okay? Any questions, anything to add on that? Miki?
Yeah, I wanted to say that with each step there is more things that you need to consider, but you also should be aware and not be scared of asking questions to people that are experienced. Or if they're not experienced,
All heard that? Everyone heard that? Nice. Yeah, as there is one very wise saying by a very wise person once. Some people say it from a very wise person. It's there is no such thing as too many questions. Some people ask, let's say if someone asks you 3 times in a row for your name, maybe it's a stupid question at some point. But if you don't know anything, even though you might be experienced, there should be no shame in asking when you need to, right? Nelly?
To add to that, Nelly,
No points, no minutes.
yeah. To add to that, recently from my experience, apart from not, there is no such thing as a stupid question or maybe too many questions, but there is also knowing where the space is to ask questions. I don't know if that's a topic here in ESN Bulgaria, but knowing who to turn to. Is it your local section? Is it your national board? Do you have to escalate? So also knowing the right space to ask.
Of course, a little bit of more tact, let's say. It's good to be implemented. Yeah, very good points. And there is one, I would say a very important aspect as well that should be tackled. It's about the respect in the organization. What can anyone share? What do you understand when you hear the word respect? Because I believe there is 2 different aspects, ways to go. Yeah?
I think an important aspect is to respect our private time and also know our boundaries.
Yes.
So, in a sense, if you're not feeling comfortable or just you don't have some time, just come front and say, I'm not available, or something happened, I need to step back, etc.
Yes.
I feel that this topic kind of in Bulgaria is a bit underestimated, and I think it should be
Yes.
brought more.
This is why I'm bringing it up, because I've noticed such things as well. I would say respect could be either something active, you praise someone, you respect them for their achievements and whatnot, right? It's because they've accomplished good things, because they're a competent, well-established individual in a given sphere, right? And this is something that I sincerely believe cannot be enforced. You cannot make someone respect you as a good professional, good academics person, or whatever. You cannot enforce that. There is another aspect, which is to respect others as human beings, to respect their, as you say, the boundaries, to respect their time, to respect them just as humans, to act respectfully towards them, right? And very related to what Nelly said, with tact, let's say. No insults, nothing related to disregarding the other person as a person, just considering everyone as equal, right? As an equal human being, okay? Nelly?
I don't know if you remember, but in the beginning of today, Oriana actually had a very wide slide with points about inclusivity, and she mentioned one very important document, that is the Code of Conduct, which, by the way, it can be added to the link tree. The link to the Code of Conduct can be added to the
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah. And still, the point is, it's good. Yeah, the Code of Conduct, of course, this is the point of the Code of Conduct. And still, there is a lot of documents, and we'll talk about it in the next few sessions. We have the documents, we don't follow them by heart, right? We don't follow them to the T. So it's not really practical. If we say we have the document, you should follow it, and people don't do it. This is the reason for that session, to be more open, to be more sincere, let's say, to you, to share certain observations that I have, and then the other members of National Board as well, if they have such observations. I've seen and I've heard about some people in ESN Bulgaria, more specifically national level, who have not always received a respectful approach. It's something that it's definitely not good. It's, how would you describe it? Has that happened to you? I mean, probably you shouldn't say it if it's something of a vulnerable topic, but would you say it's a good thing that it happens? It's a bad thing that it happens? Any hand? What? Okay, one hand, very brave. Yeah, I mean, it's logical. It was a rhetoric question.
It depends how you look at it.
Which one?
If it's a bad or a good thing.
What, disrespect?
Yes. It's a good thing that it happens so we can tackle it as a problem. It's a bad thing that it led to that.
No, I think disrespect is not acceptable in any case. You can still show a respectful approach even if you dislike the person, right? For example, let's say you hate a person and then you turn around and you slap them. Is it good to just say sorry? Or shall we avoid it because we dislike the person? Would you say it's debatable? Yeah, my point is, acting respectfully in a more tactful manner should not be a question of whether we should do it or not, right? So the point is, it's important. It's something that it should be enforced. We respect others. No one we should consider above us as a person. No one we should consider below us. What is in our control is to treat the others with the respect that they deserve as human beings, right? For example, different opinions. If you disagree, it's good to have the discussion. It's good to talk. No insults, no physical harassment, no enforcing of opinions. It's expected of everyone. And you can expect it from other people, but what is in your control is to do it yourself, right? Okay? There are no, as I said, no one below you, no one above you. There is no servants. We work for a common cause. We work together to achieve different things. We have the different responsibilities. And sometimes it's important to help each other, but we're not each other's servants. We're not working for the other person 24/7, okay? And we should not treat others that way. Like, it's respectable, for example, if it's 11 p.m., not to call people with unurgent questions, right? It's important not to, as I said, no one is your servant. You treat others as humans, and then you expect the same from everyone else. And if it's not happening, you discuss it, you share it, just as the people that I mentioned shared with me. Maybe not everyone did so, but some people shared with me. And that disrespect is completely unacceptable in such a supposedly inclusive sphere. Many people say, oh, we're so inclusive, this is one of our important aspects. Again, we don't enforce it, we don't practice it. Or as people say, we don't practice what we preach sometimes. Okay? Van's first had a question or something? Okay, Nelly?
Yeah, I wanted to say that in ESN, there is a thing that I've also noticed that if one person accepts something as offensive and disrespectful for another person, it would be very fine. So the line, first of all, the connection between people is very important, so that something that is not taken out of context. The second thing is that there is a very thin line between what something can be considered as respectful and acceptable and disrespectful, even if it's a joke also. So I just wanted to point out this because really sometimes even behavior that might be perceived as respectful could be taken otherwise, depending on how the person perceives it. And then that also applies vice versa. If something is in the general case perceived as disrespectful, again, depending on context, it could be just for fun.
Of course.
So I have two questions. The first one is just to clarify a little bit. Do we make any distinction right now between the respect on the professional level in the case of, in addition to the personal respect that we're people in the general sense, also do we take into account in any way that we have positions of some professional respect, or right now for the point of the discussion we talk about it all as respect in general?
As I mentioned, there is the two types. It's the respect as competent person, as a competent people, and then the humane respect, which is sometimes lacking.
Can you maybe provide an example for respect on the professional level? Because for me at least this feels...
Yeah, for example, you listen to someone who you believe is very competent in their field, and then because you respect them so much at that field, anything they say, you follow. this is good. And respect on the humane level, it would be, for example, not to, if you have a question which is not urgent, not to call them at night, right? Not to call them at 11, 12 p.m. because, for example, it's you feel that it's important to discuss something that can be delayed.
Yes, fair enough. Okay. And then my actual question is, so we're talking about respect, and this is the thing that with in ESN we're all volunteers. So exactly the boundaries between what is acceptable and what is not, and what is for who. So, for example, what Nelly was just starting to talk about right now is that you actually never know what is acceptable for some people, because, for example, I love to do my work like ESN in the night. So most of the time my questions arise in the night, and of course I understand it's not okay to ask random people at 12 o'clock to ask them. So my point is, nobody actually knows what is respectable, what feels and feels not respectable for others. So my question that arises in my mind was like, how do you know then that for somebody is not respectable? And what comes up in my mind, the only way to actually know it is communication, where we're speaking that all the time. However, if you don't
Is that the question?
If you don't say that, no, this is my opinion, if you don't say that you feel disrespected and you don't answer, like if the person against you doesn't say that he feels disrespected, then there is no way that you actually understand, and I think this is the starting point.
Look, of course, maybe, sure. Someone can be very happy to be called a knobhead in their face, but it's anyone that uses common sense, it's an insult for anyone that didn't get it. It's a very, let's say, nasty insult in English. So the point is, if you use common sense, you're around people very often. It's not like you don't know that it's probably not okay to call them when they're likely to sleep if they have work in the morning. Because most likely, such young people will have either academics or professional responsibilities. So it's very likely for them to be asleep by 11, 12, let's say. Or they have responsibilities later, let's say even here. It's good to respect other people with allowing them to attend the event. Maybe it's good to respect them by attending the event on the given time. Because we said, it was earlier, I think you were late for that part of the speech. We were supposed to start at 9, but many people were missing, most importantly the vote holders. Enough vote holders that we couldn't start on time. It's basic. Do you think it's debatable whether to be on time or not is a question of respect? Is it debatable? Or do you mean, no, actually, we should discuss it beforehand. If someone agrees on a given time in the morning to meet for a meeting of multiple people, it's debatable whether that time is actually flexible or not. It's not debatable. It's actually quite logical, it's quite objective to say, we have that time, we start at that time. And then saying, but if people don't feel disrespected by being late, then I didn't disrespect them. No, it's a complete nonsense there. It's completely unjustified, I would say quite unjust. I think it was, Kali, was it you?
I think it was her.
Okay. Nelly?
Okay. So I have a couple of things to mention when it comes to what Victor said. So an example of how things could be solved in that case, so how we agree on having the same set of rules, let's say, according to which we work. First of all, when anyone signs as an active volunteer, they agree to the code of conduct. So that's let's say, the first document that outlines the basics of how we should interact as people in the context of ESN. Second of all, just to give an example, in the beginning of some events, let's say mostly training events, there is a thing called social contract. The idea of the social contract is to put everybody on the same page. Okay, so we agree to be on time, we agree to do this and that, we agree to respect each other, we define some frame within which we agree to operate on, and we try to respect that frame and then be tolerant and adaptable in case, somebody makes a mistake, because things happen. And then the third thing I want to mention is really about us being self-aware, because that's I would say it's the journey of our 20s, to become more self-aware, to know what your boundaries are in general. And in ESN, it's a space for one person to learn where that boundary, like to become but in the process, mistakes happen. So we should also be aware of that. I mean, this is actually coming from my personal journey. You know, I became very self-aware in ESN.
Kali?
Part of what I have to say overlaps with what she just mentioned. Yes, I do agree with everything you all said so far, but I want to go back to what you said about all of us being in our 20s, being responsible people, and having to set personal boundaries. Personal experience, I've been texted around midnight for ESN work. I would see the notification, I technically do read the message, but I'm like, no, because it's midnight, and I need to sleep right now. Yes, I do have stuff to do in the morning, but not necessarily because of that. It's just midnight. So I'm like, no, this is for tomorrow. And in that way, you kind of teach people to work with you in a way that suits you. And it's a soft skill that you learn through the organization, because tomorrow this will happen if you have remote work in your workplace or whatever other organization you might be part of. So it's good for ourselves not only to rely on other people to make sure that we're feeling fine, respected, and whatever, but to also, like she said, take boundaries and take responsibility for ourselves. Yes.
What I was going to say, kind of like answering Victor's question, like I would think always that a starting point of people decide how to act with someone else is like how you are expecting other people to act with you. So it's not always working for sure, because as you said, like you don't mind, you're mostly working at night, but some people are not working at night around ESN. But I think it's like a starting point for you to treat people the way that you would like to be treated, and just trust that if they're not liking what they're seeing, they're just going to say it. So I think this is kind of like a starting point.
During CRC, and there was a workshop about how to create effective sexual organization, how to manage it.
Coach, yeah?
There were like stages that we need to be working effectively. The second stage was always talk about what you can do and what you can do, like all the boundaries, which work hours work for you, which things you can do if you don't want to, what you want to improve, all these little things we usually don't do, practice. And we often don't know that.
At the same time, it's a bit of a paradox. It's good to recognize you have the responsibilities, fulfill the responsibilities, or delegate the responsibilities if you need to. So, respect the others, still fulfill your responsibilities, okay? And then treat everyone respectfully, in any case. Any of you two wanted to share, add anything? Vanka, Raul?
It's covered.
And in addition to what we said, it's basically a discussion through the meeting to wrap up, so that we can also see how, in general, we can move forward for the end of the semester, for the next semester, because we're talking about locally, we're going to have elections on this in the next 1 or 2 months in your sections. We have to set up these standards, or this open communication with your new people, or find the new people that you replace you, because as Joe said, we're kind of indulging this culture in us, but even more importantly, whatever we see in our newest active members or any potential, they will see it here. So it's kind of like, maybe you can fix yourself, maybe not, but for sure you can always say to the new people that this is how it's supposed to be done. And then in one semester and 2 semesters, the whole cycle will be rotated, and then you will see even greater cultural improvements for sure.
Bravo.
Yes. Okay. So, to wrap up all the things everyone said, so ESN is not a lifetime job, let's be real. We can't be here for long periods of time. Of course, anyone has its own mind to do like 1 year or 5 years or even 10. How much time they give to ESN is up to them, but still, We need to make sure that we give the best knowledge to the newer people, to the ones that are gonna replace us. Yes, we have a lot of problems. Yes, it's difficult to work with different people. Yes, you have worked with so many different teams, especially people on trips, local boards, national board. Come on, even the twins, they're twins and their work ethics aren't the same, you know. Still, that doesn't mean that they're one. No, everyone is different, so you can work at night, you can work in the morning, it's up to you, but the main thing is we're a team. Like, we win together, we lose together. It's not when anyone does one thing, oh, I'm the best, I did that, I'm like, it was like I did it. No, yes, you probably made more time than others, but when something bad happens, everyone is like looking at the room like, we don't know how we got here, what are we gonna do? No, we tackle everything together. That's the point.
I would say in summary, okay, I would say there is maybe 3 pillars that are fundamental for the attitude. And you can add, if you want to, anything to that in your own mind, at your own availability, yeah? So first, it's very important to respect yourself. Respect yourself as a person with the different priorities. You have a lot of work to do, you have a lot of academic responsibilities, maybe family responsibilities. Everyone is different. Respect yourself. Put the boundaries. When you don't have the time, keep your boundaries, okay? Second one, respect the other people. And if you have no idea of what is considered respectful behavior, maybe you can use common sense. If not, I mean, I don't know. It's maybe a study road for everyone, but it's still just common sense, yeah? And then the third one, still very important. Many of the people, maybe because of ego, put themselves in different positions, maybe take on too much stuff. If you cannot complete something, it's good to stay back. Maybe delegate the role, maybe, who knows, maybe just withdraw from the role at some point in the year. If you don't have the capacity, if you don't have the availability. Yeah? And still, if you don't decide to take yourself out of the equation, you have the responsibilities to do. In any situation, ask yourself, what is responsible for me to do? Maybe for this event, for the just participants, sorry, it would be respectful, it would be responsible to be on time, to listen to the sessions, at least try to listen to the sessions, and definitely not disturb the sessions while they're going on, okay? Anyone who's disagreeing with that? Okay? Respect yourself, respect others, do what is expected of you. Okay? Quickly?
Yeah.
Jorka, go on.
I just want to have a kind of thought about the earlier part of the discussion about the general respect and politeness, like on a general level. And I want to amplify what Nelly said about the thin border between being disrespectful and not, and what you say, you may feel that it's not disrespectful, the other person might feel it in the opposite. I have a pledge to everyone, including on the NA as well, on the road to be respectful and polite. Please try not to lose the humor part and the
of course,
the joke part, because and also don't purposely look for a way to feel offended. Like
I mean, that would be disrespectful in itself, no? If you try to make the other person as an aggressor, as an attacker, when they're not, when they're just being joyful, just cracking jokes, it would be disrespectful in itself, right? So, again, use common sense as a rational person. And if you have trouble distinguishing what is common sense, maybe you can learn. Who knows? Yes? Okay. So, respect to yourself, respect to others, responsibilities, yeah? Let's wrap up.
All right, thank you, Joko, for the discussion, and Ivan, and to everyone who contributed. And Ralo, especially Ralo. Okay, now I will invite Ivan and Ralo again and the whole National Board in front to present their proposal for the action plan of this mandate. I mean, if only someone will present it, it's fine. I just assume you all did.
I mean, okay. 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 We start with the Ivan. Yeah. Shall we do national strategy and action plan for the mandate? Okay, we can start. Yes. Do you have the document that would be voted on?
I have this.
There must be in the folder presentations. Няма ли го там?
Не.
Добре, пратена на почтата.
Ами аз питах при малко.
Аз ти казах, пратена на почтата. Виж почтата. Където е това? Бюджета е това и
Добре.
Okay, quickly, has anyone here read the proposal for the strategy and action plan thoroughly? Very important. Zori, really? Okay? Michi, Callum? Thoroughly, I mean. Okay, do you see any typos? It's an exam. It's a question. There are actually a few mistakes.
There are, yes.
There are a few mistakes. Of course, on purpose, just to check who's focused.
What that thing?
You know? Yes.
Budget report сме прати.
Същия ден има още едно. Не. Това е преди 2 седмици. Това е пратено на всички. Добре, айде да дай го другото, след тая. Okay, quickly. So, what does this document consist of? Zori, the whole document.
The action plan is...
No, the one that we've compiled.
the strategy.
Yeah, the strategy and action plan, exactly, that's what I mean. So it's strategy, national strategy, and national action plan, yeah?
So at first for the strategy it's a little unsustainable that you're creating strategy each year, but it's in general like
Yes.
the guidelines of what the ESN is supposed to be doing,
Exactly.
what is supposed to be like the point, the main focus,
Yes.
and causes, whereas the action plan also has the allocation
Yes.
between sectors
Yes.
and priority level of things that need to be done, as well as the like end term by which time they should
Yeah. Exactly, very nice. Very nice. Exactly, so, for the moment, the national strategy is something that for some reason, as we were talking about the documents and how probably suboptimal they are, we're supposed to vote on a strategy every year, which is a bit weird. Usually in the business, in the policy, politics, related fields, strategies are a few years in the making. Yeah? Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years, a period of 3, 4, 5, 6 years, that would be a strategy. Something that is every year, and considering that the national level is changing very often, right? Maybe once every year, maybe even more times. Some people are joining, some people are withdrawing. The strategy to be changed every year, it's a bit maybe unsustainable. And still, everything related to the general, as you said, responsibilities of ESN Bulgaria, the general idea, direction of the organization are included in the strategy. And of course, some of the typos, as you can see, for example, for web project administrator, Valeria Velcheva, our WPA, is of course not from ESN Sofia University.
Not of course.
I mean, it's of course, because I know it. The thing is, changing some things, and the previous WPA was from ESN Sofia University, was just changing. I was not writing it from scratch. Gonna be absolutely clear with you. Was not writing it from scratch, it was just changing some stuff. And then, Yeah, so it stayed like that, a typo of course. Then there is maybe one or two more like that, which are, of course, not ideal, but there are in the document. So the strategy pretty much unchanged from last year. If you want to learn more about it, you can read it. It's sent to everyone attending this event. Then, secondly, as we mentioned, the action plan, which is more of the, what are the actions for the mandate? What is actually what we're going to do, okay? And as Zori mentioned, can you scroll down? Yes. Yeah, so we have the strategy here. It's first the outlook of the organization. Yeah, down, down, down. This is the strategy now starting, preface and then strategy, yes. Strategy, it starts, then we have maybe 5 more pages of strategy.
Just
yes.
go to number 9.
Yeah. Okay, very nice. So we have the strategy, and then, of course, as we mentioned, we have the action plan, which starts, I don't know why it changes 2 pages, but whatever. Can we scroll down just a little bit? Yeah?
I have a question. So,
then the section.
Okay.
My question is there also like a relevant task location, or is all tasks something that should like come to mind? Because me, as someone who's not new, I'm
Yes.
not pretty sure as to which committee or section or...
Yeah, who is responsible for that?
Yeah.
These are the tasks not for the local sections, these are for the whole national organization.
Yeah, but the national board isn't it like for the whole organization, is like the thing that contains every...
Yeah, of course. The point is still that each section, they have their own day-to-day activities, right? They have their own responsibilities. And the national level is not supposed to govern everything the local section does. It's supposed to coordinate the local sections, make sure that everyone is fulfilling their responsibilities, and then let them do their thing, right? This is the main thing. Just to oversee, see if there are some problems, but not do their work, right? So this is the work of the national organization. And as you mentioned, yeah?
As legally elected bodies, we are the ones that enforce and coordinate and actually
Exactly.
responsible for this to happen. Just to explain what means priority 1, but that's extremely important. That's why it's up to us to make sure it's done.
Exactly. We create the action plan and we do it in the way now we present it. We vote on it as a team, as everyone in ESN Bulgaria is equal. I mean, the sections depending on the size, of course. But yes, we have the different aspects and then that's it. Okay? It's a good question. Very nice. So yeah, as you mentioned, the action plan here, we have different aspects, as we mentioned. A little bit of a business-like structure, a little bit of a more political policy type structure. We still have different aspects of the whole operation, right? We have the legal responsibilities, some things that if we don't complete, maybe the Republic of Bulgaria can actually cross out everything that we do. Maybe they can annul us as an organization, right? So this is why these are completely important, right? Then we have the internal structure. This is more of the national assemblies. Some responsibilities that are not related to the general law of the Republic of Bulgaria. They're more related to the internal law, as you say, or as known as the statutes of ESN Bulgaria. Right? We have our own internal law, which we're supposed to follow. This is related to that. Okay? And to the ESN International as well. So if we don't attend GAs, for example, the General Assemblies, we have the assembly for ESN Bulgaria, there is one assembly of all the countries, right? And if we don't attend these consecutive times, we lose our right to vote. We lose some of the rights that we have in the network, right? So we have certain responsibilities in the internal structure of ESN in general, okay? Different things, and then if you can show Ivana the action plan in Google Sheets. All of these are based on the file that I mentioned earlier. Before the transitional meeting with ESN Bulgaria, the newly elected board, I worked, I would say quite extensively, on developing every single aspect of ESN Bulgaria, and it's not exhaustive. There are certain things that are missing, but these are maybe 90%, maybe 95% of the things that should be done by ESN Bulgaria in this year. So, can you do main tasks? These are the same ones that were grouped by table in the actual proposal, right? So we have the different categories, we have the actual tasks, we have the category of importance. And these are ordered by one, if we don't do it, maybe we can be annulled as an organization, right? Second is, if we don't do it, it's absolutely terrible for ESN Bulgaria. 3, if we do it, if we don't do it a few times, it's going to be completely terrible for ESN Bulgaria, okay? Then 4 and 5 are the things that if we don't do, nothing major will happen. But 4 is, if we do it so often that we actually do it well, at some point there might be massive achievements, massive benefit for ESN Bulgaria. 5 is something, at most, one person does it, and they benefit, and no one else does. This is not important for the organization. If only one person benefits from a certain activity, this is not beneficial for ESN Bulgaria. At least this is the way we set it as a priority list, okay? 1 through 5. 1 should be done, no question about it. 2 and 3 should be done. 3, a little bit more of a slack. 4 and 5 doesn't need to be done. 4, if done, good. Okay? Any questions with the prioritization?
There is a slide after this, so...
Yeah, of course, but still. If it's something that quickly.
How is the secret
Jorka.
Yes, Jorka ESN Valentine. How is secret Valentine more important than ESN card orders?
It's a good question. Yes.
How is what? Secret Valentine?
The thing is, this is related to the strategy as we mentioned. So, we categorize them with the different ideas in mind. And one of the priority points of ESN Bulgaria for this year that we set is to attract new volunteers and to retain the new volunteers. And that would be done practically by team building initiatives. And it's not something that if we do it, it's going to be a major thing for ESN Bulgaria, but it's important to engage the people in the network, okay? And the ESN card orders, there is something that, we will talk about it in other sessions as well, but yeah, a lot of changes with that in the international level. If we don't do it, let's be honest, if we don't do it, we're not going to close ESN Bulgaria, right? It would be a major hit, but if we don't do it, it would be shit. Right? So this is the idea. Just to categorize them by that priority list. Okay? We have the deadlines, of course, and then in the... Can you do complete information, Ivan? Okay, and then can you scroll down quite extensively fast? So, as mentioned, it's a lot of different things. Every single line is one task in ESN Bulgaria. There is probably 1,000, maybe even more, that actually should be completed. Sorry?
It was 800.
It was 800, but not everything is fitting. Maybe it will be more than 1,000 tasks for the whole year to be completed by ESN Bulgaria, and this is for the moment. This is considering that we have no projects, person in charge of projects in terms of position. We have projects that are essentially divided into people with other responsibilities as well, okay? We have no partnership coordinator. If other things are added to ESN Bulgaria, more responsibilities will fall. But for the moment, we try to essentially clear up the gaps, clear up the massive holes in ESN Bulgaria for the moment, okay? And this is it. A lot of different tasks. Every single task has a priority. Like for example, let's say for a National Assembly, if there is no restaurant booked for the night, we can still do the National Assembly, right? But if we don't have the participation list, it's as if that National Assembly didn't happen. So there is certain responsibility of doing the prioritization as well, okay? So all of the tasks, frankly not all of the tasks for the moment, pretty much all of the tasks by groups, priority, and then we have the responsible party, as it was asked by Zori, I believe. Who is responsible for each different task in ESN Bulgaria? Okay? This is it. Then we have Ivan, section responsibilities, and this is something we will talk about in 2 sessions, 3 sessions. The one related to documentation, okay? The different sections have different responsibilities, and Zori, this is something that you mentioned as well. This is what we're overlooking for all of the responsibilities of the sections to be fulfilled. Okay? What is then? We have the calendar, of course, of the events, internal, external events. We have the different positions to attach it to other people, and the checker, which is anyone can just type, whoever has the access to see whatever tasks they have for a given period even, they can just type. I mean, this is a filter, so can you scroll to the top? Yeah, you can just type start date, end date, and you can see in each time frame what kind of responsibilities you have. If you're at the national level, of course, and you have access to that. Okay? There is a question. It's very quick to wrap up, so question round, okay?
Yes.
What? Question?
Michaela?
No, my point is it for the question round?
I think it's now the
Very quickly then.
Yes.
Miki?
Michaela Štegarska, ESN University. Well, I do appreciate the effort that the board put in this. This is still not an official document. This has not been voted by the sections. Like, this is not
Sure.
yes. But I think that the one document that we should be focused more on is the action plan, because there is where we had previously these tasks
Of course.
written.
Did you listen to the previous things that were said?
Yes.
This is based, the action plan, of course, is the document that is voted on. Now I'm giving the backstory why the action plan was developed in this way. It's because we listed all of the things that we could think about in ESN Bulgaria, and this is the tool that would be used to track the things. This will not be voted by ESN Bulgaria. This is something very important to have in ESN Bulgaria though, and this is why I'm sharing it. Do you think it was better not to show it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
It's for the question.
Yeah, sure, go on. So the thing is, we shared it just because you should have an idea of how the action plan was actually developed. It's not pulling things out of a hat, it's not in a random manner, we did all of the tasks that we came up with, we structured them, ordered them by priority, by importance, by deadlines, and we set them in the tables in the action plan. Now, this is essentially the action plan, but more detailed. Okay? This is essentially it. If you have any questions, you can do so in the question round. Anyone to add here?
To the document, but I can take that to the question.
Yeah. Okay. Quickly. Sorry, or is it for the question round?
It's clarification.
Okay, go on.
So for the action plan, you told me that it's tasked based on the national budget.
Yes.
There are like responsibilities for that.
Yeah.
So all the tasks here are also national board responsibilities, or they're local board?
Yes, it's for the national level. All of the tasks of national level. This does not include the tasks of local sections. And still, these are the things that should be clarified as an organization. What should actually the sections do for them to continue to be sections? Right? Because for the moment, we're barely doing anything in terms of sticking to the responsibilities we have as sections as a national organization as well.
For that, we have a session.
Exactly. This is the one with the document. Okay, question round, shall we? Okay. This is it.
Alright, so for the official question round, we still have the Slido. The link is in the link tree. If you didn't find it previously, maybe this time there will be more questions, not only from Miki.
Which one?
And please remember to add your full name and section there as well. You will have a few minutes for this because we are still doing quite well with time.
We're ahead of time?
The session is 19.
It depends on the
Yes.
questions.
That's true, that's true.
I mean, if we need this, if we should wait for the lunch, if it's okay, we can move one of the sessions after lunch for now as well.
If we finish early.
This also depends on the OC.
Yeah, of course. That's my question.
When the time comes, we will discuss the
Yeah,
time.
You know it's the question round, yeah?
They're typing.
Okay.
I hope they're typing questions, not messages.
Anonymous, eh?
Така ли излезна? Експеримента каза, че не Quem são meu?
It's okay, it's okay. Okay. There is two. AC.
Shall we wait for a few more questions?
Yeah, let's wait a few more minutes. Sure. Okay, yeah, you are free to form.
I mean, it depends. I can also.
Is anyone still writing their question? Okay.
Каза, че нямаш въпрос.
Как е прекрасно?
Anyone still writing?
Okay, there was one person before, now there are three.
We can start and then right afterwards.
Okay, for the first question, Nelly asked to have the chance to elaborate, so I will invite her here to use the mic, which is, well, yeah, it works now.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Nelly, Audit Commission. Thank you very much first for creating the document. I understand how hard it is to create it, especially in the beginning of your mandate, so good job. Since the Audit Commission is an independent body from the National Board, yet you are still mentioning that the action plan and the strategy is a document that comes out of the national level, which is a different term, which also includes the Audit Commission, among other teams. Do you think that the national strategy and action plan should include points that are related to audit?
Yeah, this was mainly the use of national level was mainly due to us in ESN Bulgaria considering support level as national board as well. It was not because of saying that everyone is doing the exact same thing, right? But national board and support, usually, it's easier to say national level, no? This was the point. And still, Audit Commission, in the perfect world, where we have all of the positions at the national level, national board and support, shall I say now, and then the 3 Audit Commission positions as well, they should not communicate beforehand and prepare each other for their whatever they should propose, right? The Audit Commission should be objective, should be competent to understand what the actual problems are, what the actual issues are, what the actual good practices are. And for this reason, because it's proposed by National Board and Support, it should be different. If the Audit Commission wants to have an action plan for the year, they could. No one is stopping them. Still, it's different. It's both, let's say, bodies have a different function. So it shouldn't be.
Thank you, Nelly, for your question. Moving on to Mihaela Sofia University. First question is related to teamwork. How did everyone contribute directly to the creation of AP? Question to everyone except Joko, who presented.
I can say that for me, for Danny, the action plan was what we did last year, so it was more streamlined the process of just adapting and not simplifying, but summarizing some of the points so that we don't put too many unnecessary information in the action and actually leave that as final details contributing to the main categories. So I guess that's for the old board that can just adapt it and use the same timeline that was basically validated from last semester to continue the same thing for this semester. That's this on my side.
Okay, now I can hear me. So for the action plan, what we discussed was when we had our first national level meeting, like the national board and support, we went through the points that Joko had already written, and everyone could add what they thought it was missing, what he initially wrote, so that we can all add to, for our own position, what we would like to be included in the action plan. But we drafted this document in September, I think it was when we met for the first time. That was the picture in our report. So yes, we had the base given from Joko with all the work that he did, but everyone could add whatever they decided that was missing at the action plan.
Specific details. In the beginning, the idea was, let's say, HR and trainings were paired together as one category. We discussed that it's better to have something related to HR in the sense of members, HR sections, HR internal events, and trainings is a separate category. That's why trainings is its own separate thing, which includes also international trainings. So that's, let's see, one instance that we adopted in one and made it more categorized.
I mean, I'm pretty much covered, but yeah, we had one day to talk what Joko did, and the next, we had a whole day to think about the things that I wrote, write suggestions, opinions, and yeah, the next day we sat down and added the different points.
Anyone else wants to add anything? Okay. Thank you all for answering the question then. Moving on to Troyan from ESN Plovdiv, aka ESN Troy. The question is, what's your biggest point of frustration when dealing with this type of documentation? And any of you can answer, I suppose.
I can say for me, this is I think I also mentioned in the last NA, generally when you're creating an action plan, is actually pretty hard for you to actually think about what is going to be your priorities until the end of the mandate, especially when it's the first time you're at a national level. You don't know what you're actually getting into sometimes, about all of the additional things that are just related for you to be on national level. So, for example, for my first mandate, I had some things put in on the action plan that later on I decided that they were actually not so important. So I would say that this is kind of the harder part when you're dealing with specifically this document, just to think about for the whole year ahead what is actually going to be in your priorities and how high it should be in your priorities. But this is for me.
I wanted to add up on that. Keep in mind that this is it's really hard sometimes to follow this because in some situations we have uncontrollable situation that it isn't in our hands. So we should put our efforts to the more crisis, then we think about the other things. So yes, sometimes maybe it's not up-to-date things, like all exactly deadline, but come on, we talked about this in the other session. Sometimes these situations need to be handled really quickly and put our efforts into them as well. Covered? Troy?
All right, moving on to his second question related to the revision of the strategy.
Which Michael is this?
Stregarska Sofia, ESN Sofia University. Why didn't you put any effort in changing or improving the strategy? Please read the third paragraph from the preface to give you clearance. Mihi, would you like to elaborate on this?
Yes, can you read the examples? So if you understand.
Yes. I need the mic, right?
Yes, and you can only come to use it here.
Can you open the stuff?
This one?
Yeah, to the top, second page.
Yes.
4.
The first page, please. Mihi, ESN Sofia University. Stregarska. It's fine. Okay, so reading out loud. Okay. Finally, this action plan should not be considered as an internal document of the board, but a guide for OESN Bulgaria. This will be complementary to the action plan of sections, local boards, national committees, which describe the activities and purposes of the association. So, my question regarding this is, why do you think this is not exactly an internal document with the obligatory tasks that the MB has to do?
Time.
Okay, to answer Ivan's question on giving clear examples on things that should be removed or improved, for example, 7.2. Yes, thank you. 7.2.1 aim for greater internationalization of our national assemblies and other events of ours. My comment here is that there is lack of interest of internationals, so how can they benefit from coming to our assemblies? And 7.3.3 and 7.3.4, I think they're not necessary. Just examples on the surface level.
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak on behalf of the board. From what I understand, let's tackle it one by one. We are talking about a document that, as we correctly pointed out, it's a strategy, and the idea is that it's for a few years. As we said, that's why there hasn't been main changes to the documents. If you focus on the preface, what we have here is, again, that's my explanation that the talking point here is also action plans and strategies of local sections and committees, and that it's not kind of like to be held by documents. The thing is, that is the strategy. The point is not to interfere too much with it. And if the idea here is that you want to suggest to have some sort of a tracking function or I'm guessing reporting function, like if all this has been done, and to have some sort of officialization of this document, I mean, I'm not sure that's something that we agree here, just because it's not something that this document is the purpose of. It's as it said, it's a guide. It's not something that is officially to be held up against a member of the board or the whole board. Basically saying if something is not done,
The more important thing is something that we mentioned as well. It's not like ESN Bulgaria, just the national level, just the 6 of us will do all of the work for the whole year. It's the idea for the whole organization to do that stuff, right? So this is why it's not just for the board, it's for the whole of ESN Bulgaria. And everyone in ESN Bulgaria is voting on whether the section is agreeing on tracking, following that action plan. Everyone is free to vote on whether they agree or not with the strategy and action plan. This is the proposal. This is why we suggested to everyone, and this is why we voted for everyone. This is why it's not just something internal. It's not something that we do it and then we keep it to ourselves. Maybe the Google Sheets file with something like that, maybe we could have kept it from you, maybe not. I think it's more transparent just to show you how we were operating, how we were trying to develop, let's say, the processes in ESN Bulgaria. But it's not up to only us to do everything, right? This is, yeah, absolutely unattainable, subjective to consider that possible.
Also, and just to comment an example, in the action plan, for example, we have conduct the NA. If there are not enough sections, there is no NA. So if there are not enough people or scrutineers, then it's really tricky to actually make NA. So it's not up to only the national level or even just section members. As you can see, we need 2 scrutineers which are objective. So it's scrutineers, it's 7 to 10 to 12 sections plus the national level. So it's a bare minimum for an event to even be calculated that it's done correctly. Same goes for national trainings and so on and so on. And just because they were mentioned in my search sheet, I do agree the strategy is something that was left from last year about internationalization, the point 7.2 and 7.3. Again, it is something that I try to do to keep an international image and an approachable image of ESN Bulgaria for international initiatives. Honestly speaking, sometimes it's a lot of external factors of countries, of what we can offer internally, so what we cannot do, and some opportunities that could be used by our members or not. So it's something that it's offered there. I can support it, but again, it's not something that I want to remove or think that has not been done. An example I can say is the event by ESN Armenia in June or July, fully covered trip to Romania for the national NA with a project, open call, countless reminders. At the end, only one person said that they will come and they canceled 2 weeks before. So nobody went there. And it was a completely zero, like you have to pay zero, completely free to go there and to come back. For example, one opportunity I can think of. I can add some other NAs or trainings, internal as well. So the opportunities are there, but if there aren't enough people to go there, then there's not much you can do. And that's a objective reality. It's not something that we want to be this way. If that covers the question, I can next one. Also, I have a procedure. Is it 2 questions per person or more?
So, since we have a lot more time, I will accept all the questions, but I will leave Mihaila's third question at the end. Next, we have questions from Kalian Marinov from ESN Bulgarian University. Are you worried that this NA has a lower amount of participants compared to previous editions? Maybe representing lower interest of new and previous volunteers. What are your thoughts on this?
No.
Why?
No, to be honest, I think the number of participants are more than we expected, to be honest. And yes, it's not like we don't have representatives from some sections, but we have a good variety of people. Newer ones, people from Plovdiv, people from... Can you please respect it? And yes, so it's, I think we managed to achieve our goal, what we said, so as part of the OCM, what we talked about and expectations.
Do you feel covered, Kalian? Wait, do you want to elaborate and then let you answer? Or do you want to say something now?
I can just say that my first NA was in Varna and it had a lot of new volunteers at that point.
mention is that the NAs in Varna and Dorose, at least from my experience, since I've been in ESN, I don't know how many NAs I've been, but these two NAs specifically have many more people than we usually have. Usually at NAs we have this amount of people. So these two NAs, it was just kind of an exception that we had so many.
Also to give some contextual reality from my experience in NAs, the one in Varna had half of the people were ESNers, half were from the student council, which they left after half a day or towards the end of the day. So they weren't present for the full NA. For Rus it was also similar because they had some representation from external institutions, IROs, but they usually leave after the first one of the sessions. And then it's usually a fluid event, like I think we'll have people coming tomorrow. And, you know, it's very change. But yeah, as Dani said, these were the peak numbers, not in the history of ESN Bulgaria, but let's say in the last 2-3 years, because of the support of the local university, or in Varna's case, the student council, which kind of co-organized the whole event with us. And the other context for Varna, yes, amazing counter, lots of new people in NA Varna. 2-3 weeks later, at the national training, barely anyone knew. So for me, that national training in Stara Zagora wasn't the best because we had to adapt the program, basically give the chance for medium experienced and experienced members to basically talk with each other. And we had maybe 3 or 4 to 5 new people, max. Now, if the idea is to have a big amount on the NA and the same amount lower for the training, for me it's better to have it balanced. And from what I see in the registrations for the upcoming training in Stara Zagora, some new people, quite a few new people that weren't able to come here, they will come for the training. I'm guessing it's prioritization, maybe you can all attend to events in a month for new people, but for me that works, and let's see how it goes after the training. Maybe having a few new people in the NA in November and the training in November in the same month is good. So that these new people are basically coming, but they're not on this event.
Check. So, if you want to compare NAs based on the last NA people-wise, this one has a lot more interest. So, we're on the up if you look previous to this one.
All right, thank you all for your answers.
I give a reaction.
Okay. Reaction from Mikhail, ESN
Yes.
Sofia University.
Mikhail Shpegarski, ESN Sofia University. My reaction is, I think we should look based on the active members, how much, like as a percentage, should be at the NA present. Because if we have 60 people that are at the NA but they are buddies and they don't understand these things, then there is no point. We should look at the active members and people who are intrigued in the depth of the organization to know what to expect as a number at the NA. My opinion.
Troy, do you have another
I
reaction?
just want to ask how many buddies do we have here in the room?
Procedural, that's a new question, so it has to go to the...
It's more of a comment, a question comment.
I have a more comment I wanted to ask.
This is a question that has
It's
to
more
go to
what
the
we say
question
is
round.
irrelevant. In last NA, it
Yeah,
was only
I agree with Nelly. If it's still a question, you can add it in the queue.
But it's not related to the action plan. So
Yeah, that's also true.
And it was also answered.
We had it earlier in the...
Yes, Rado said he has the numbers, he doesn't know
No,
them, what
he's
he said.
asking
Ah, here.
But it was asked.
It's at least 3 people. Okay, before I go to the next question, I would like to remind you that you should try to write your questions in a concise manner and make them easy to answer. If it's alright with you, Troyan, I will rephrase the last 3 questions you added into one, which is, to what extent do you feel that the feedback from the local section is constructive, and how would you improve the creation of the EAP in the future?
How would you improve? Can you clarify on the...
How would you improve?
Because
The EAP creation process in the
because
future.
the point is we're not consulting sections before creating the action.
No, it's more.
when you combine the questions, they lose their sense. One of the questions is related to if when you start your creative process for the AP, what can you improve in that case? And the other one, which is a separate question, is when you provide the AP with the sections like you have now, what do you think about the feedback that you get from it? I think that's what I asked. So I don't think the question works when you combine it. One of it, the process for the creation of the AP, what can you improve in that?
So for the creation of the action plan, it could be more thorough, of course, something that I mentioned a few times. Still, I mean, many people have the ego, as I mentioned earlier in ESN. I sincerely believe I have one of the more objective views of ESN as a whole. This is why I started with that action plan, with that structure, and this is why I passed it on the others from the team to see if they have anything to add. Because surely I may have missed something, I missed some things. But the thing is, in general, I sincerely believe it, and I think at least some people would agree, I have one of the most objective views in the whole of ESN of what are the procedures, what are the practices, what are the requirements and responsibilities we have as a national organization, in the sense of national organization. This is why it was done like that. And how it can be improved, again, it can be developed more thoroughly. Anything that is missing can be developed. The other thing which probably should be mentioned is we should stick more to it, because, I mean, in terms of keeping track, because we're sticking to it in terms of ideas, in terms of what to do, but in taking care of tracking what has actually been accomplished, still we're not used to it as a team to do everything to be checked there. That can be better. And then in terms of feedback from the sections, how many people talk now? So it's usually, let's be honest, if we discontinue, if we don't count the people that are now at the national level, there is objectively less than 3 people in this room that always want to ask something and always have a critique for something. So it's not really a representative of the whole situation, of the feedback from all of the sections, right? It's good for people to have opinions, it's good for people to have observations. I wouldn't say this is more of a feedback from all of the ESN sections. It's more of people that are interested.
Also, Ivan, to add as a comment for all the sections, again, reminder that you have the right to propose any changes to the document by, I think it was 11 this evening, sent to the National Assembly, and then they can be voted as amendments tomorrow morning, if you want to do it, if it's something that you want to change in the document. But let's make it with the discretion that grammatical, punctual, and let's say Valeria, and to the dates, they'll be adapted. These are syntax errors, they're not into the content. So like context amendments, content amendments.
Thank you very much. We received some new questions in the meantime. First one is from Nelly, ESN Bulgaria Audit Commission. Do you think the NB should consult sections before writing the action plan? Is it possible timeline-wise?
Can I elaborate?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm sorry that I have to bring my international experience and perspective on that, but on the international level, when the strategy and action plan are created, there are usually some thorough there is usually a thorough consultation process ongoing, but on the international level, the timeline for making the strategy and action plan is usually 1 year. So here comes my question. Do you think that it is actually feasible and it makes sense for the National Board to consult sections before making the yearly action plan to know what to focus on, or it's only what the current National Board would like to focus on?
Again, I mean, very logical addition with the timeline. No, I don't think it's practical, because when is the time to... We have, in November, we have the voting of National Strategy and Action Plan. We have to upload it 1 month before that, right? So it's in October, and it's for this year, early October 2025, right? Then the National Board and Support are elected mid-July. Then we consider all of the responsibilities, and as we mentioned, it was not an early transition, surely, but still the transition was in September. So imagine us still not working together well, first trying to figure out what the responsibilities of each person should be, how should we develop it, and how should we develop the document, and then consult every of the 12 sections. Practically, it's not going to be 12 of the sections because most of the sections don't even care about such documents. They just vote them automatically. So it's unfeasible to consult every single section.
I just want to add something. I just want to add something quickly that, as Joko said, by timeline it would be very hard to fit in all the section consultation, let's say, about the action plan, but what is actually happening right now, you are seeing the action, you will receive the action plan in advance. Usually it's supposed to be 1 month in advance. I don't know how much it was now, but it doesn't matter. You receive it earlier. You can see it earlier so that when you come here and when we have all of those discussions, you already know what we suggested to you, and as I don't know who already mentioned, you have the option to suggest changes to the action plan that we can vote on tomorrow. So you have the time to see the action plan, you have the time to think about what you don't agree with or you don't understand, so that you can ask your questions now, and then you can suggest your changes for tomorrow. Just to clarify that this is happening right now.
Also, Dr. Mary, yes, it's a good idea. Yes, some countries do it. Example, ESN, the Netherlands, I know that they have an NA, 1 month before the NA. Around that time, they also have some sort of a special online discussion, or even maybe in person, but I know they have like the MP and the pre-national platform event. So yeah, that's super easy, you know, one event to discuss and then the next to vote, that's very nice. But again, practicality-wise, I would say that first we should focus on clearing out the section documents and how we can legally make sure that we can start the academic year right, which will be discussed again after the budget, after the lunch. And from there, if everything is amazing, sure, we can think about it in the next, few years. It could be possible to have even more on-time discussions so that the document is even more, how to say, collected early feedback, again, if possible, from the section. But again, at this point, let's first register the sections for them to be active, and then they can also start being, dive deeper into the process of creating the documents. But again, that's kind of culture.
Can I just add a comment?
Yes.
I added myself to the speakers. I prefer to say it as a comment. Something that you can consider, maybe also pass to the next mandate, is to start the consultation process before ending your mandate. So maybe on the July NA, apart from the elections, etc., there could be also a session for consulting the sections for the action plan, and then provide to the next mandate this input. That the document can be based on. But this is just a suggestion that just came to my mind, and you can
Remove the question.
yeah, that was a comment.
Yeah, of course. Again, it's something sort of a utopian thingy. Let's be honest. A lot of the requirements, a lot of the responsibilities we don't fulfill. So as long as we continue with not fulfilling the responsibilities and saying, we should change the practice of something that we actually do, and it's, to be fair, it's good to have it. If we don't stick to the action plan and still, if we don't have an action plan and we still continue doing the actual actions that are really important for in terms of responsibilities, it would be still good for the organization, right? So I think it's focusing on the suboptimal thing. Of course, it would be good, but first, let's prioritize actually completing the things that should be completed, right? That's my view.
Thank you. We have another question from Martina Tinkova, ESN UNWE. What are your main concerns in regarding to completing the points in the AP? What challenges do you foresee that may slow down the schedule?
Again, I guess I can speak here from other people that are not here. The goal, for example, the digital infrastructure, the web pages, which is Valeria's domain. It really depends on the ability for us to function for these websites, to fill them with content, to actually understand how to work and operate. So, for example, for the WPA, we'll see how it goes. That's why it's kind of lower priority, because, again, if it's done, amazing. If it's not done, we're still working on it. For events, trainings, MAs, number of active members, again, if they're not a certain amount of people that we want to recruit or have this good attendance on NAs and national trainings, I guess that's also a concern, because if our focus is to attract new people, we'll see how it goes in that sense. Same goes with institutional relations, with documents, with legal things that we're now registering. Again, documents we'll see in the next session. Objectives to fulfill the project that we have, which is a very big framework with lots of grants which we have to fulfill. So these are just a few points that I can say that are things that we'll see how it goes, but we're keeping them in mind. These are like very, very important things to do before the end of even the semester. If that fulfills your question.
Okay, there is a question from an anonymous person. Kind reminder that we don't take these ones. If it's a serious question, you have the chance to go back to edit it. If not, we're going to Mihaela's last question. Why the points of the AP are so vague? Why did you change the style from last year? How can the local board hold you accountable when an action point has not been done?
I would like to point out some clarification for me. Vague, if you can give some examples, sure. For me, they're a bit more simplified and categorized in the sense that last year the action plan was done very individualistically for each category, which means that there are lots of categories that were, I guess, fulfilled. And then at the end of the year, we say, like, did we do it? Like, because the format wasn't that extensive. So now it's a bit more concrete, a bit more structured, and again, prioritized. So the main point 1, 2, and 3 of this 5-step framework are the things that have to be done, and that these are the good ones. For sure, this doesn't mean that we won't try to overachieve and do other things if we can, if we think there's an opportunity, including myself. But for me, I guess it makes sense to promise main things, and if you want to do additional things, do them, but not promise them in your action plan. Just makes it simpler and makes it more easier to go with it. So that, you're all responsible for that. As for the local boards, to keep them in line, if you agree with me, we can discuss after the session with the documents what are the responsibilities of the local boards, how they can be part of this whole process, because as we saw over the last 2 months, the national board cannot work if the local board doesn't also fulfill some requirements and vice versa, so it's a mutual game. It's not for me to hold you accountable and say, aha, you did this on 80%, why are you so bad? Or you did this at 40%, what happened? Lots of things happen. Like, it's not something that you can have control over. But yeah, it's a mutual thing, and maybe accountability is not something that I would encourage in this case. I would say communication for the teamwork. If you that clarifies the question.
Do you have a reaction?
Yes, comment more. To answer your question on which points are vague, if there is a sort of university. Yes, thank you. This is not to give you another question to answer, just for the NA to decide. Attracting new volunteers. How? By which ways? By which means? In what way? Retaining new volunteers. How? It's not a question. I'm just putting it out there. And having attended EGM. Yes, we can attend EGM, but with what intentions? Should it be more attending EGM towards institutional support, or towards more volunteers, recognition, or volunteers, whatever? It's just too vague. 3 words is not enough for a goal to be achieved, let's say.
Okay, and then another comment on the comment. This is why what you said about being pointless of sharing the document is absolutely controversial. You're contradicting yourself. We shared it because, as we said, it's 800, 1,000 lines of different tasks. If we share it in a Word document with everyone, it's going to be something like a few hundred pages of an action plan. This is not ideal. So every single point of these has the subtopics, subtasks, and it's not just having a tentative, it's not vague, it's the exact opposite. Because we have every single task below that, this makes it more concrete. We have the deadline, we have the responsible person, we have the priority, and every single subtask subtask with exactly each of that variable. It's exactly the opposite. It's concrete, the action plan. But what you say with it shouldn't be 3 words. This is why we share the document, so that you have an idea of how the action plan was actually developed. It's not something we came up with, as Ivan mentioned. Like last year, the idea was everyone should just write something so that it would be fair. In my opinion, it should be the people that actually understand the situation should set the foundations, and if someone has ideas, they should be added. But it shouldn't be like, it's only fair that everyone does the same. No, different people have different experiences, different competencies. This is why we started from the foundation, and then we built on it. But it's not vague, it's definitely not vague, and this is why I showed the document. Go on.
Yes. A reaction, if you want these points to not be vague, then you and the national board should propose also the sheet to be officially recognized by us as an additional document.
In the sense of what?
In the sense of the action plan having they are the
In English, yeah?
to be adequate and to be understandable.
Yes. The point is, we have different documents in our law, as we mentioned, the statutes. We have, by law, a document that can be voted on, that should be voted on. And this document is not part of that pact. This is why we're not voting on it. But it's sort of indirectly voting for it, because every single point is based on that. And this is why you had the option to look through it. But to be fair, let's not be hypocritical. You just mentioned you didn't want to look through it, and then you're like, you should share it. We just offered everyone the option to see it, and then you mentioned, you shouldn't share it. You should set up a clear position, in my opinion, so that there is an argument to be made of, not just to blabber, right?
I think I'm fair for myself.
Sylvia?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to my
Another one?
It should be allowed for people hearing, no?
It's okay. But you can come to the microphone.
Well, just an addition to the question how. So the reason I'm here is that I just wanted to give an example how, like a representative from the international office, can support the work of ESN through participation to these assemblies, through volunteering, because I have the database of students going or willing to participate in Erasmus. So I'm distributing all the information that you provide. And since even from the beginning of my experience in the university, there was always the position of part-timer who was working in the international office and who was the connection between our administrative work and the students. And what we do was to support the work in every aspect that, because we value, we respect, and we help. This is the point. So if we can be added as a tool for disseminating, for increasing, for anything that, so I'm beside this position. I mean, the international office or the office, the Erasmus office, is absolutely, how to say, an important department helping the work of the ESN.
Yep.
So this is what I'm trying to also share when our national agency gathers us in their meetings, official meetings and conferences, and sharing with the colleagues at my position in the international office that it's absolutely important to support the work of the ESN section in their universities. So this is what we can do. We can also help and support financially and with information with any aspect.
Yes, of course.
Thank you very much for this food for thought. There is one more question on the Slido from Ljubojes and Plovdiv. Have you done a risk management analysis document stating all the possible problems that may occur and ways to solve them?
Yeah, for the moment we are not doing a special analysis on the risks. The thing is, a lot of foundations are missing. Let's be honest, even those documents are a bit questionable in terms of how effective they are. The point of this year is to set something that is very strong in terms of foundations that we can build on in the future. Of course, it would be good to have risk management analysis at some point. For the moment, as I was mentioning a few times, we have certain, it's sort of like when you build a structure, you start from the bottom, right? You start from doing the things, doing the important things. Let's say in ESN, for example, you don't start with, let's find a new music festival to be partners with. You start with, let's actually have volunteers in the section, right? If there is no volunteers, that's not something you should start at. We start at the fundamentals, and then we build on that. And for the moment, as is my observation, quite, I believe, objective observation, quite a lot of the fundamentals are wrecked in ESN Bulgaria. And this is what we need to fill in first. But yes, of course, it's good to have it at some point.
All right, thank you, Joko. You have a reaction, Victor?
Just to ask, is there somewhere document what the fundamentals should be? Whatever, I don't know.
That's a new point added to the
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, I can answer. Shall I?
Briefly.
Okay. This is the point. There is no document that states every single point. In the statutes, in Bulgarian Ustav, as it was mentioned, a lot of the internal responsibilities, legal responsibilities are stated in different laws as well. Okay? So it's a lot of jurisdictional documents that should be followed. And this is the reason why we did that. To have everything related to the organization in one place. To know exactly everything what it is that should be done. There is nothing like that will help you have the trips and then the national assemblies and then the international events as well. This is the document.
Do you have another question?
It was for the previous point regarding the Excel sheet.
Okay.
Yes, Zori had a question before the IO.
Yeah, so after Miki's comment, don't you think that it would be good practice to have this supporting document also uploaded and be available to people to go through? Because yeah, it's more than 1,000 lines, but people could also only look at what's regarding themselves.
Yes.
And if they do not have this document and they only have the so-called vague goals, they would maybe retain from voting on the action plan, and then they wouldn't accept it or they wouldn't deny it, they just wouldn't vote.
Yeah, there is some argument to be had on whether it should be shared with everyone and everyone has an all-time access. At the same point, it's not like it's a secret. At every single monthly call that we do online, at every single national assembly, the idea is to stick to that action plan and show exactly what the points are. Not to come up with random points, as usually people do at national assemblies, international events as well. What did you do? And they're like, I actually thought about doing something. No, the idea is to stick to the action plan and do everything related to it. And if people really like to know what is happening, they're most likely going to join the national calls, maybe look through the minutes that are uploaded, supposedly every time after the calls, maybe attend the NAs. So it's an argument to be had, of course. We could talk about it. It could work without that as well very easily, because people can be informed without actually having the all-time access. They can even ask. They have the action plan, know the different points, and then the idea is to check what is completed and what not. That's it.
Yes, Risto.
Maybe my addition is, would you like this document to be added alongside the email with the action plan, or did you generally thought that there was no public access to it at all?
I think both.
Okay, because there was public access to it, because I believe we sent it at the first.
No, we shared it. Because it would be a mess. Let's be honest. If let's say 100, close to 100 people have access to everything, it's going to be a mess. The idea is for the few people that are responsible for all of the actions and the planning to develop the whole thing, and then, as we're doing now, for people to vote.
Yeah. So fair questions, by the way, for responses.
Yes, yes.
All right, I would like to close the speakers list and end this because this discussion is going further. I would like to thank you for the new initiative of bringing this type of document, and I hope you can take this feedback to think of, until the end of your mandate, how things could be improved next year. So for now, let's stop this. We are almost 1 hour ahead of the agenda, but I've been informed by DOC that lunch is here. So right now we are going to go take our group photo and have a break until 2, if it's all right with you.
And the song?
And the song will be Tarantan.